Hello, everybody. This is Nicholas Clay from Clay Entertainment here, and I'm giving you a little extra thing again with Chapter 1 DX. As you can no doubt tell by the video title and by what's happening right now, this will be a director's commentary on Chapter 1 DX. Figured I could do something like this to kind of shed some light on how the development of this thing has gone, and point out some things that were either removed, changed, etc. While this was being made. So, as you can no doubt tell, this first scene is largely similar to how it was in the original, but the animation was definitely changed for the better in some places, namely the walk. And yeah, I mean, these opening credits are also very different as well. This especially, want to shout out Ethan, Gumshoe Gamer, Luke, Techron Flux, and Northwestern Splendor. These guys really have been helping out behind the scenes, making sure that everything just is great. And man, unless if it was obvious, in case it wasn't obvious, this is unscripted. This is incredibly unscripted. So if I fumble over my words, I am incredibly sorry. But yeah, and this was the first scene. Tomorrow's another day indeed. So something that I want to mention, because I pay attention to the comments on Chapter 1 DX. I've noticed that some people have mixed feelings about the custom voice lines. A lot of you say that they aren't fitting and stuff, and I completely understand that. I just needed. My thing was that the reason why I did that was because I wanted to give the characters more things to say, because there's just so much that you can do with the Inkling sounds. I wish there was more. Maybe when Splatoon 3 comes out, get my hands on those sound effects and make these guys more things to say. But also, it would be nice if we could get voice actors. So if you guys want to help support that and make that a reality, remember, I have a Patreon now. The link's probably in the description somewhere, or maybe I could put it on a card like most YouTubers do or whatever. And I also have a Ko-Fi, so if you want to go check those two things out and support the voice actor goal, or just support me in general, there's your option. So here we are in the second scene. I know we're kind of like a little ways into it, but for those of you that remember the original, you might realize that there's a major change that's happening in this scene. For new time viewers, or people that haven't watched the original pilot in quite a while, might not know, but in the pilot, it was a narration recorded by yours truly that was explaining to the audience what was happening. But as my good buddy Ethan pointed out, the narration's kind of unneeded. And part of the reason that I ultimately decided to go along with that was because that the narration kind of spoils what happens in this what happens in the rest of this thing. And yeah, it's just better. It's just better in some cases that certain things from the narration were just dropped by characters in later scenes. But what those are, you'll have to look into that yourself. I'm not going to name anything. Just figured I'd mention that. Alright, here we are in the third scene, and no doubt this is probably, I would say, the highlight for most people. Whether that be in air quotes or not, I'm not entirely sure. But this is the big encounter scene that everyone loved to comment on in the pilot, saying that this particular part right here, Persana's up next to her locker, and you think that, oh no, why is he lingering on this shot for so long? Surely there's a reason for that. Well, as you remember, yeah. And I don't think to this day, but before Chapter 1 DX became a thing, I got constant comments and stuff about people saying that, oh, when Vicky slams the locker, it's a jump scare. Completely unintentional, mind you, but Chapter 1 DX, I kind of just decided to embrace that. So I tried to increase the volume of the sound effect to make it more impactful. Just so that it's like, yeah, it's an intentional jump scare now. So I didn't get to mention it in the second scene because I was talking about the narration. But second scene also saw some minimal changes with the animation from the pilot to DX, but this scene, oh boy. There's if you haven't seen the comparison video that I put out last week, where it literally showed you certain shots like side by side, or actually no, it showed pretty much the entirety of the pilot and the preview for Chapter 1 DX, which included a little bit of the fourth scene. You'll notice that the animation quality between the two drastically changed. And yeah, it's just, oh man. It was a cool thing too, because that was actually something that I did while I was working on this. Or just the remastered stuff in general, not when we got to the newer stuff. But when I was going through in scenes 1, 2, and 3, and more specifically 3, when I was in scene 3, after I finished one shot, I actually kind of went back and compared it to the original version that was in the pilot. And yeah, I noticed a considerable change. I mean, I hope I would. It's been, what, 5 years since the original pilot? Oh, God. Yeah, as you can know that tell, Vinky's a jerk. Go figure. But, you know, we also got introduced to another new character, Dean. Who's an upstanding guy. Dean's a great guy. Look at him. He's helping out Sana, making her feel a little bit better about herself. And to be perfectly honest, when it comes to just animating certain sequences in the scenes, there are actually a couple of scenes or just sequences in general that I really enjoyed animating. The ones that really were about the relationship between Sana and Dean right here, where they're just interacting, they're having fun talking to each other. These types of scenes are really fun to animate. And I think I speak for everybody else in the comments and just within Friend Circle and everything that the fan favorite's coming up here in just a moment. But whenever Alicia right here, whenever she was involved at all, I don't know if it was obvious, but I had a lot of fun animating Alicia, especially on the remaster. Like, I had fun animating her when I did the original pilot, but on this remaster, I was like, on Chapter 1 DX, I had to make sure, I'm like, okay, I need to dial it up a little bit. Because Alicia's like very cheery, she's very like, you know, spunky, very upbeat. Kinda need to dial that up a bit. Oh, so apparently they have a little bit of history. They've known each other since middle school. I wonder if we're gonna go into that little backstory in a future chapter, but I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. And with this scene about to end, we're getting close to the point where we're basically in new territory. Though technically speaking, we won't be in new territory quite yet, because I did kind of show off a little bit of the next scene here. Just a little bit, not entirely, but just a little bit. Yeah, this fourth scene right here. This was shown off a little bit in a preview that I put together a couple of years ago. Granted, it wasn't like the grandest of previews. It was just like, hey, it's more of a teaser. But yeah, this is the fourth scene, and oh no, Sana's still upset. I forget it. There was something that there was a joke title that I gave this while I was editing. I think it was something along the lines of alternative title. Sana just can't win. This entire remastering of the chapter, it's very obvious that yeah, Sana's having it rough, and we kind of get a little insight with both the previous scene and this scene, what's really going on. So, as you know, Binky's been just, tormenting her for however long. But apparently Sana has an ex, and things just didn't go well as the ex dumped her. So, yeah, Sana just cannot win. She just cannot win. But Alicia's being a good friend here, and she's like reassuring her, hey, don't worry, everything's fine. Things will work out in the end. And then, of course, immediately after this, she has to throw in a joke just to break the tension. But that's kind of needed. Everything is purposeful. Trust me. I mean, we kind of did pass the point a little bit, but now we are in new territory. Like, this is like a little bit halfway through this scene onto this next scene here. It's all new territory. And so if I want to talk about anything in particular, it's kind of dumb when I was putting this scene together and I was animating it. These walk cycles were a pain to animate, but it's when we get into the final scene here, is when I figured out a more streamlined way to get the walk cycles done, but I didn't figure that out at this point, so it's still pain. Still very much pain. And what we got now is what I like. Well, I'm gonna start calling the trio of Life of Inkling. Sana, Alicia, Dean. This is when all three of them first are in a first scene. It's the first scene with all of them together. Just kind of wanted to establish like some sort of a connection here. Alicia once again saying that, hey, we've known each other since middle school. We're pretty tight. Always causes trouble, yep. Thankfully, no, but, I don't know. Maybe she might try something again, the next day. But that's for me to know, and for you lovely viewers and subscribers and just everybody who's watching this, that's for you to find out when the time comes. Oh no, now she's upset again. Wonder what she's thinking about. Kind of just spacing out again. Oh, okay. I don't want to say that this scene was where I hit my stride, as it were, when it came to figuring out how I wanted to animate this series, but I definitely did have a lot of fun animating this, despite the pain that the walk cycles gave me. Want to comment on the I mentioned it earlier, but I want to comment on the voices again. So I'm probably not going to do anything like that in chapter 2 onwards, again assuming if we get VAs. So for the time being, I'm probably just going to do like small little efforts which is just going to be like character calls, like, you know, calling a character by name, like Alicia saying Sana and stuff like that, or just like oof and stuff like that, you know, just so that we don't get things like that, which to some people again was very jarring, which I completely understand, and I appreciate the feedback and stuff, because definitely going to be taking that into account moving forward. And I know there's some people that this is probably like, oh man, it's a holy grail, it's a work of art and everything. Listen, on the rewatch, just you know, editing this beast of a thing together, and even now, just watching it for this director's commentary, I'm noticing some issues here and there with the animation. Completely understand. But I also appreciate, you know, everyone like showing their support, saying that, man, this is so great, I love it, and everything. It's like, I really do appreciate it. But I still have a lot of room to grow as an animator. But there are like certain things in here where certain shots specifically where I'm like, man, this was so well put together. And with that, we are coming up to the end of Chapter 1 DX here. So, I guess I want to say that now that we're at the end here, before Dean gives the coincidental revelation that he and Sana are neighbors, like literally across the street. Trust me, guys, it'll make sense. Just want to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video, and just Chapter 1 DX in general, because again, this thing has been in the works for, again, 5 years. That's still a crazy thing for me to think about and for me to process, because to be perfectly honest, I didn't even think I was going to get this done at any point, but I'm so glad that I actually did, and that a lot of people, even now, are just entirely supportive for this project. So, yeah, as the screen fades to black here, and the text reminds us that everything will be continued in Chapter 2, Overcoming. I will leave it at that, despite the fact that we have this large wall of text that is me saying, I'm sorry that it took so long. But I genuinely do mean what this text is saying here, which is why I put it there. So yeah, with all that said, thank you all for tuning in to the director's commentary of Chapter 1 DX. There were a couple other things that I wanted to mention and say during this recording, but I guess I just didn't get around to saying that. Oh no, oh well, maybe another time. I'm probably gonna be doing more of these director's commentaries with each preceding chapter, just to shed a little light on what's been happening behind the scenes, and just what was happening while working on each chapter, or whatever is related to life in Inkling. But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.